Hello, my name is Audrey Marie and thank you for clicking onto this video. In today's video, I will be reading Pet Sematary by Stephen King. This book has been of interest of mine for a while since it got this cover. This cover specifically caught my interest whenever I would go into Barnes & Noble, Books A Million. It's just so different from everything else, like the style of covers. I think they started doing these covers for some of Stephen King's other books, and each one of them is so gorgeous. It caught my eye and got me to buy the book. So whoever designed this, so good, gorgeous. I have tried reading another Stephen King book before. I've tried reading Firestarter by him, and I got a third of the way through, I think, and I just could not get through it. To do a soft DNF of that book. I still have my bookmark in that book because I feel like I might go back to it at some point and try to finish it. Like, I was enjoying it. It's just not in my typical genre. I'm giving Pet Sematary a shot. I did start it a couple days ago. I haven't got too far into it. I've gotten to page 121. I've slowly been getting through it. It's not my typical genre, so it's not like I'm actively wanting to pick it up. I'm reading this because it's October and that's the season. I'm like ready for the spooky vibes of these books. I feel like I'll enjoy this book because Stephen King is so massive and he has so many books. There's definitely one out there that I feel like will be for me. It's just the act of finding which one it is. So I've already been debating on soft DNF in this book already. I've been listening to this audiobook as I've been reading this. I've had the audiobook at like 1.35, 1.5, and just the narrator of it is so slow. Not normally what I would want my speed of my audiobooks at, so I full on cranked it up this morning to ×2 speed. I'm going through this book pretty quickly whenever I sit down and finally listen and read this book. I'm in the neutral realm of this book so far. So I'm not loving it, I'm not hating it. I'll pick it up whenever I have time. I'm not gravitating towards this over anything else, which sucks because I really want to enjoy a Stephen King book and say, oh, I've read Stephen King before. So I'm gonna push through on this. It's around 400 pages, just under 400 pages. My goal is to finish this in the next couple days. I didn't do a lot of reading over this book over the weekend because my boyfriend visited over the weekend. So he was able to spend time with me this weekend. And we had a wedding we had to go to for a college friend. The only reading I did do was before he got here, Friday morning, I think. And then also Sunday night because he had already left. Not a whole lot's happened in this book. The family of four, which is Lewis, Rachel, Ellie, and Gage, all have moved in and they have a cat named Church. He became really good friends with the old couple across the street, which is Jug and Norma. Norma has already had a little heart attack scare. Thankfully, Lewis was there to help keep her alive. They've just moved into this new town from Chicago. He started his new job at the school. His daughter started kindergarten. In the past couple pages, their cat died. Got ran over by a truck in the road. A couple chapters ago at Lewis's college, a student died on the first day of classes. So that was interesting. And it was really confusing at first because I was listening to the audiobook and I was like, did I miss where it explains what happened to the guy as to how this happened to him and why he's dying? Like, I understand he has like a gash on his head, but I was so confused as to what happened, like how this happened. And so I pulled out the book and started flipping through it because how did this man just come in here and almost about to die? I read through it and I was like, it doesn't say a single thing about what happened to him anywhere. Well, as soon as the next chapter started, it explained he got hit by a car while he was running with his friends. I should have just been listening a little bit longer and it would have gave me the answers that I was looking for because I was so confused. But that was a little gross. I don't do great with gore or death. Now, in the past 10 or so pages, I think, Lewis and Jug are going to the Pet Sematary to bury Lewis's daughter's cat, Church, who just went through surgery. He keeps mentioning how the surgery changed Church constantly. throughout this entire time frame where they're like walking to the pet cemetery, he keeps mentioning how the cat's personality has changed, which is a very well-known thing, that once an animal goes through surgery to that caliber, kind of changes a little bit. This book's okay so far. I'm in the neutral aspect of it. I'm not loving it, I'm not hating it, so I'm gonna keep reading through this book to see if I fully enjoy it and if I'll pick up another Stephen King book. If I do not enjoy this, I don't think I'll buy another Stephen King. As I continue this book, I'll pop in and give you my thoughts. Stop listening to The Pet Sematary by Stephen King. I kind of went into this blind. I didn't know what to expect. I'm not itching to pick up this book. I'm trying to finish it before this weekend hits so I can be reading something else whenever I go back to my hometown. But I am on page 248, chapter 39. We've had Norma die, which is Judd's wife. So seeing all that happen hit me. And then I got to part 2 of this book, and Gage, Lewis's son, passed away, and it just abruptly switched to the funeral date. We were reading and it said, oh, he has 2 more months to live, and then his funeral. Part 2 started and we were at his funeral. So there was a little bit of a time jump. The little chapter before this book starts, it talks about how Stephen King used instances that happened in his real life to inspire this book, and took those instances as to like a what if situation. It specifically talked about his son running out into a road, and what if I was not there to get him out of the road. And now Judd has come over to talk to Lewis regarding his son. Judd is literally like, not be thinking about taking your son over to the cemetery and burying him. Judd was about to start a story of how someone in his past did the exact same thing. It seemed like it was from a war, and his father wanted to bring back his son. The writing of this book is really good. I just don't think it's for me. My opinion could change once we get to the end of this book, but right now, I don't think his writing style is for me. I don't know if I'll continue into any more of his books until maybe a couple of years later down the road, but right now I don't think his writing style is for me. I will be continuing this book to finish it because I'm already over halfway done, and I don't necessarily like DNFing books. I hate cliffhangers, so I need to finish this book to see what actually happens, even though I have my guesses where this book is going. I think I have around 150 pages left of this book. So I'm gonna keep reading it. I'll probably finish it tomorrow or Friday. We finally figured out why Lewis's wife, Rachel, doesn't like the topic about death. I will say, that was a crazy story to come across. I feel so bad for her, and now she's dealing with this with her own son. And the relationship between Rachel's dad and Lewis is extremely strained, and there was a bit of a fight. I'm waiting for a moment where it finally is enough. Dealing with church, and he kills the cat, or the cat ends up dead somehow. I'm intrigued as to the ending of the book and how it's gonna wrap up, because it sounds like Lewis is thinking of taking his son's body up to the cemetery, leaving it there so he comes back alive, but I wonder how that's gonna work with his wife and his daughter, and how different his son might be. And if his son, because they reference the bull being the only thing that's came back mean, I wonder if his son will come back significantly meaner and aggressive towards his parents and maybe his sister. So I'm curious as to how this book is going to end. I have a feeling Lewis will bring him back, and then he'll have to somehow figure out how to kill his son, and that will completely break and shatter his family. But we will see. On the ending of this book, I might pick up another Stephen King book, but I highly doubt it until I finish Firestarter. I will only be buying another Stephen King book if I finish Firestarter. I gotta finish that before I pick up another one, because I want to give him another shot, but also if I don't like it, I don't want to keep spending money on books that I won't end up picking up, because I only want books that I really enjoyed around in my collection. So I'm ready to see where this ends and what my final opinion is going to be on this, but I'll keep you updated with my thoughts and when I finish this. So I finished the Pet Sematary. I finished it about a week and a half ago. I just haven't gotten around to filming this little snippet, and also I was out of town and I left my book at home. So I wasn't able to give you a little recap of this book before I left town because I was packing and then I just left. I finished it, I packed, then I left. And I needed a little bit of a breather after this book. I deterred from my October TBR because of this book. So this book hit me hard. It was beautifully written. The writing style is really good. I will give it that. It's just not for me. I use reading as an escape, and this was not an escape. This was throwing all my thoughts and real life situations back at me, and I was not ready to read all of this and put me in a depressive mood, basically. I'm not ready for that. I knew going into this it was going to be a dark book, and I was not ready for it, but I wanted to give Stephen King a try. For the time being, his writing style is not for me. I don't need to be, it's so hard that I don't want to do anything for like a week and a half. Even the book that I read after this just did not help me get out of it. I'm working on getting out of, after reading this, it hit me really hard. So I think I'm gonna not read any more of his books for the time being. I have Firestarter by him as well, and I've only read like a third of that maybe, but I'm gonna step away from his books for a good while now. Like, I'm not gonna feel bad about not finishing Firestarter, because that's been hitting me where I'm like, I still have Firestarter, I want to finish that book. But based on how hard this hit me and what type of mood it put me in, I think for my mental health, I need to take a step back from his reading, and once I'm in a really good mental state, and maybe in over a year or so, I'll be able to tackle Firestarter. But this gave me really good insight into his writing style. The ending was literally where everybody dies and everybody gets killed by his son. The cat also gets killed. Judd gets killed as well. Has a memory or a dream where she is like, oh my god, this guy was telling me that it's too late. And it happened to be the guy that was in the beginning of the book that was with the dad when he died. And he was like, I was trying to warn you, but it's already too late. Ellie, which is the daughter, told her mom, something's wrong. We need to go back, because they went to Chicago after their son died. So the mom races home. She was thinking her husband was gonna kill herself, basically. And so she gets home and she goes to the old man's house across the street because he was supposed to be watching out for her husband because he wasn't coming back. And she finds the old man on the floor dead. And then she finds her son alive, and she was like trying to get a hug, and the son kills her. So in that house there's 2 dead people already, and the husband comes back to the house, falls asleep, wakes up, and his father-in-law calls him and is like, hey, yo, is my daughter there? She was supposed to come and see if you're okay. And he's like, yeah, she's here. Because he noticed the car across the street over at the old man's house. He was like, yeah, she's here. So he went to go check and see what's going on. Kills the cat with a syringe of stuff from his medical bag right on the front porch of the old man's house, because he was over there. Finds the old man dead on the floor. Then he goes up the stairs, finds his wife dead on the floor. And then he goes and kills his reincarnated son with a syringe as well. And then lights the house on fire, takes his wife out of the house, and takes her over to the Pet Sematary and gets her reincarnated. And that's where the book ends. Just like her being like, hey, hun, and puts her hand on her husband's shoulder. And that's it. That's the end of the book. I was not ready for that ending, and it was a bit of a shocker. I'm glad I can say now that I read a Stephen King book, but I don't know when I'll read another one of his. I'm not gonna feel bad about not finishing Firestarter now. I'm glad I was able to finish this and say, I've read one of his books. Not for me. Now I know. I will not buy another Stephen King book until I finish Firestarter because I don't want to spend more money on books that put me in such a depressing mood. So that's my review on this book. If you're into that, go read it. Not for me, but I'm sure people out there love these books. That's for you, not for me. Anyways, I just want to say thank y'all so much for watching. I really appreciate you for clicking on this video and spending your time with me. Go check out my other reading vlogs if you're interested in seeing my thoughts on the other books that I read. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in another video. Bye!